Today is Thursday, and we're at the end of almost the end of the week. And today is stated Thursday, and basically this is a day where bills get introduced and bills get passed, or bills die, or land use resolutions and land use applications get approved or declined, and basic forms of government. So today is a beautiful Thursday morning, 9:25 in the morning on the 14th. And I think everybody know what happened yesterday was that Eric Adams, our mayor, outgoing mayor, but he had no chance of winning that re-election against Swela or Madani or Cuomo, vetoed intros 1135 and intros 1133, which will mandate Instacart to pay deliveristas the minimum wage. Like I said before, guys, that I'm opposed to the minimum wage because the rollout was done incorrectly. I believe that the rollout was done with only a few voices, and the majority spoke against it, and the bill the minimum wage got passed through in 2023. And like I said before, in that time, it would open up a can of worms that will be part of put back in. And you know what happened was the can of worms was the e-bike crisis. And then you have now the fact that the commissioner of the NYPD, the Nepo baby, Jessica Tisch, she put to where if you get a Class C summonses for riding an e-bike or riding the bike over the red light or etc., then you get gotta go to 1 Central Street, 16th floor. So that minimum wage really opened up a can of worms where it's harder putting back in. So right now, it's about one person that's watching. Shout out to one person one person that's watching right now. I'm heading over to Tweed courthouse for a rally they had with this migrant who was detained by ICE, and they wanted to deport this migrant. So basically, that's in a nutshell. And somebody asked me to come out to some shit with Zoran Madani, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do it. I said, I'm not. They're not letting me in. I'm not going. So they gonna put a Larista hub here very soon. And it's they lobby all the time. AARP. They lobby. They lobby all the time. AARP is basically the senior insurance. Things like senior care, something like that. If you're a senior over 65 and above, you get AARP. So right now we're heading to this migrant rally hosted by Councilmember Rita Joseph, Councilmember Lincoln Wrestler, and Councilmember Alexa Velez. And like I said before, guys, I am one of the most pro-migrant people you ever meet. I love migrants, but I'm against criminals. I'm against the violent ones. So people think I'm not anti-migrant at all. I mean, and plus, I want to see what's happening later on today. I got to meet someone for 1 o'clock around, I think in the city or Brooklyn, like that. So I can't be here that long. As stated, got a broken tree branch. 9:29 right now. Starts at 9:30. Just want to walk around, see what's around here, because sometimes they do like multiple things in one night in the same time. So gotta be careful with that. So made a Department of Buildings right there. Brooklyn NYPD tow. You have NYPD right there. See the guys from a mile away. One of the most anti-migrant people. I mean, pro-migrant people you ever meet here. might start fucking with me because of that. You never know. I don't know why they not. Oh yeah, because the chair of education is there. Rita Joseph. She the chair of education, and what's up? So whatever, bro. No much, man. Not today. Actually support this stuff. Not today. Yeah. So that's one of the cops right there. I'm not crashing and stuff. Really here to see what it's about. You're a Laker wrestler. There's a Murad right there. Literally not today. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry. Mad cameras and holy shit.
Oh, you know, there's no security outside. It's open to the public. Your girl said that.
Yeah, you have to move stairs right there.
Oh, you got to okay, mark it. Oh. Hold it up. Just hold up your back. Yeah.
Sorry, Chris, space by.
Hey, what's up? Sorry, bro.
You're supposed to handle our keys.
Yeah.
But I've never done that. They got 4 sets of keys. So they got enough keys
hold on to one.
Yeah.
MOC.
That's another thing.
No, I'm calling.
You won't be seeing him.
No, because that's not.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, no
That's not our job. And I asked him yesterday. I was like, okay, I don't think it's going to happen. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
8:45. Sorry about that, guy. Just signal is like. So yeah, I turned.
Because they don't know.
You will not see it.
Right.
It's true. It's totally exposed.
No, I'm
And
like,
then could get one grade of the snow. I'm not WNBC landscaping.
landscaping.
Snow removal.
Snow removal. Plowing. WNBC plowing.
No, I don't know.
He went a couple of times. Look at
A lot of people here.
good morning, everyone.
Got the picture of
I am I'm a legend of the education here in the New York City Council. I usually start by saying good morning, but it's not good morning. We have a New York City public student in ICE custody as a result of Trump's undemocratic, authoritarian fascist regime. Mama Dude did the right thing. Showed up for his routine check-in. If he was abducted, the student seeking a better life. Pursuing his education has been stripped of it all. As a mother, a forever educator, and an immigrant, I am heartbroken, but I know more than ever I will fight alongside the great New Yorkers here to bring Mama here. We will not rest until Mama Duke is back home. I know Mama Duke may not see all of this here, fighting for his return, but this is what we do as New Yorkers. We show up for our neighbors and support them. But let me be very clear. I will not be intimidated by the Trump administration. We will double down, work together, and remain vigilant to protect one another. The fabric of the city is the thread of diversity. That is our superpower. Thank you to the organizers, my colleagues in government, and everyday New Yorkers for bringing us
could not be here today. What has happened to Mocutar is disgraceful. I'm grateful for you all to stand with us. I'm grateful that we have such an amazing coalition that has demanded Mocutar's immediate release. We're fortunate in the City Council to have two great champions for immigrant youth. Our education chair, Rita Joseph, and our immigration chair, Alexa Aviles. Just grateful to all of you for joining us in this fight. I especially want to recognize Dr. Alona Cohen, the principal of Brooklyn Frontier High School. Thank you for being with us. I want to thank Advocates for Children, Good Shepherd Services, and all of the organizations and groups who have been working with Mocutar since he came to New York just last year. Mocutar has followed every single rule. He has done things exactly the right way. He is seeking asylum here in the United States. He has become deeply enmeshed in our Brooklyn community. He recently completed a culinary internship. He's completed a security guard training program and is excited to get to work. He's a member of the Autobots. He's a model student in our downtown Brooklyn. And yet Donald Trump and his goons abducted him last week when he was doing the right thing by showing up in his immigration. But we all know that Donald Trump is trying to scare us. He is abducting people in mass when they go into immigration facilities, when they try to follow the rules. So we are out here today to make clear that we will fight back. Mocutar has no family. He's just relying on his friends in the community at Brooklyn Frontiers, and he's relying on all of us to speak up for him, to demand his release, and to demand that all immigrants be treated fairly, be treated justly, that we stop these heinous abductions once and for all. We're a couple weeks away from school begins. And we want every student in New York City to know that they are safe in school. This abduction did not happen at Brooklyn Frontiers High School. It did not happen in a school building. But it is a harrowing day. It is a scary moment. And we have to get loud. We have to organize. We have to fight back. We have to make clear to Donald Trump and his minions, we will not stand by. We will fight back every step of the way to ensure Mocutar and every student, every immigrant is released and treated fairly in our system. I'd like to turn it over to the chair of our immigration committee, my friend and colleague, Alexa.
Good morning, everyone. I am the chair of the Immigration Committee and representative of the How you doing? We have been having these press conferences on feels like almost on a weekly basis. This is wrong. This is kidnapping. In fact, I would take it a step further and say that this Trump administration the Black community, the Latino community, the Russian community. If you are not Native American, you are not born here in the U.S. citizen, you are at risk, and it will affect you one way or another. So please stand with us for justice and dignity. Let's demand the release of Mocutar and unnecessary by this horrid, hateful administration. Thank you.
Now we are fortunate in New York City to have a remarkable set of immigrant advocates that are galvanized by the New York Immigration Coalition. I'd like to invite their executive director, Ron.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Murad Arauda, and I'm the president and CEO of the New York Immigration Coalition. I would say it really is not. This is not the first New York City public student who has been taken, restricted, trapped at a courthouse, come in, and then detained and disappeared, and then accepted that they got out of their court. We have to remember not only Mocutar Dallo, who was just taken, but also Dylan Lopez Contreras. This is the first New York City public school student who was disappeared by this administration. And we continue to see day in and day out the lawlessness of the Trump administration in executing their horrific family separation and mass deportation agenda. New Yorkers know better. Americans know better. That there is no way that as a country can move power forward without the engine that keeps us running, which is our immigrant communities. But this federal administration doesn't want you to think that immigrants are good for this country. Because we are making a village. And what we have seen is that New York City has become the epicenter of courtroom detainment. People going to court seeking justice and safety being faced with injustice. The Trump administration wants you to believe that they're doing a safe. We know this has nothing to do with safety. They're trying to spread and sow even more chaos, more fear, and push people more into the shadows. This has never been about safety and security, it's about cruelty. Today we're rallying for Mocutar Dallo, and we are demanding his immediate release. His immediate release today. He is someone who is beloved by the community that he has built. I want to give a huge shout out to Good Shepherd Services. They have been at the front line of fighting for him and making sure that no one misses the opportunity to step up and stand for justice. And I want to thank specifically my sister Annie Menendez for constantly bringing the people most impacted to the front. We deserve better as a nation. We deserve better as New Yorkers. And the only way we're going to get there is by demanding that and fighting unified. We are not in a moment where we are testing the limits of our constitutional rights. We are in a constitutional crisis right now. We need to fight for our democracy because they are saying some people in this country have rights and others don't. And if that's the case, none of us do. So I call on all New Yorkers and anyone watching, step up and start fighting back. Fight for Dylan, fight for Monaco, and fight for the 7-year-old who was taken at 26 Federal Plaza with her mother and her brother just a few days ago. They are trying to wear us down, but we have even more battery packs put in our backs every single day when we see the injustices happening in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to now introduce our own president, Antonio.
de buscar a criminales en nuestro país para deportarlo y hacernos a nosotros más seguros. No es lo que pasa. En este momento tenemos un estudiante que se llama Mocutar Dallo, que estaba haciendo todo bien. Estaba en la escuela aprendiendo a cocinar, parte de nuestra comunidad aquí en Brooklyn. Y lo que hicieron es cuando fue a corte, se lo llevaron. Un hombre que no ha tenido ni un toque por la justicia criminal, el sistema criminal o el sistema de justicia aquí en los Estados Unidos. Ahora nosotros estamos viendo el delegado que está buscando droga, que es atrás de gente inocente que están haciendo todo bien. No son los criminales. A ustedes, delante de su cara, le está mintiendo, le está diciendo lo que está haciendo. Pero nosotros aquí estamos muy claros, lo vemos muy claro lo que está pasando. No es solamente una injusticia, es de parte de acabar nuestra constitución aquí en los Estados Unidos. Nosotros tenemos derechos, Mocutar Dallo tiene derechos. Aquí estamos constituyendo para mejorar este país. Y sabemos que nuestros inmigrantes, la familia inmigrante de nosotros, están asumiendo. Pero nosotros que no somos inmigrantes o que ya tenemos nuestra ciudadanía, no estamos asustados. Estamos aquí para pelear. Estamos aquí para asegurar que lo apoyemos a ellos. Porque no pudiera ser el primer presidente de un condado como un inmigrante sin el esfuerzo de los inmigrantes de los padres míos y los que llegaron antes. Aquí estamos apoyándolo a él, no solamente con los oficiales electos que están acá de mí, pero su escuela, la principal está aquí apoyándola, los maestros apoyándola, porque esto es un desastre. Gracias. When I say free, you say Mocutar. Free! Mocutar! Free! Mocutar! When I say free, you say Mocutar. Free! Mocutar! Free! Mocutar! When I say free, you say Mocutar. Free! Mocutar! Free! Mocutar! Free them all, everybody. Next up, I want you all to hear from our controller, who has put his body on the line, has shown up in Federal Plaza time and again to help protect immigrant New Yorkers. Let's give it up for Brad Lander.
Joseph, for convening us today. Thank you to our councilman for being here. I think Rick Willis and for all the advocates. Look, every day right now is bringing fresh horrors. And I'll be honest, it's hard to keep paying enough attention to all of them. Yesterday, we see federal troops rolling into Washington, D.C., taking over an American city. A few days ago, we got the first look at conditions inside 26 Federal Plaza. Thankfully, a federal judge recognizes that those are inhumane, but it's every single day some new thing is happening. And look, this is what Trump meant by shock and awe. They want to make it harder for us to be outraged by things that are outrageous, to be horrified by things that are horrific. But I will tell you one thing that is horrific and outrageous is abducting and locking up children. And that's what we're talking about today. Mocutar, 20 years old, he is a high school student. He's here without his family. That is the kind of young person who has found it possible to escape to New York City and who is settled here. And what we don't allow, not going to allow, is our young people, the future of the city, is without their family trying to make it here. Abducted by people purporting to be government officials, and then to be put in conditions that none of us tolerate our own children being placed in. So I really do want to thank people who are calling all of our attention, in particular to the plight of young people. That includes Raj and Shepherd Services. I also really want to thank CORE, which has been providing legal services that really set of young people, organizations around ROCC, NYCC, NYC. These are folks who started working with a lot of these young people at the Asylum Application Center. blessing to get to meet of others that folks have been showing up for in court. So my last trip to 26 Federal Plaza was with a young man, Ibrahima, who's also from Guinea. And I'll tell you how you know he's already a New Yorker. Is that I asked him some things about New York City, what food he liked. I asked him what I would like from Guinea, and he said, of course, I would like the jollof rice. And I said to him, I understand there's like a debate amongst people in Africa who makes the best jollof rice. And he said to me, well, I'm from Guinea. I'm supposed to say that Guinea has the best jollof rice. But you know what? Since I'm in here, I got to taste the Senegalese jollof rice, and I think maybe it's better in Senegal. And I was like, Ibrahima, you're a New Yorker. And that is what we're talking about. It's the future of the city. It is a place where you're oppressed around the world, or you don't have a family, that here we take you in our high schools and we help you learn English and become the next generation of brilliant, thriving, fearless New Yorkers. But we will destroy that tradition if we don't maintain our horror and outrage. Many young people, for no reason at all, let's be clear, Mocutar showed up in court. He got a next birthday from the judge, and the ICE agents who abducted him kept him in inhumane conditions at 26 Federal Plaza, who have shipped him to Pennsylvania, who don't give a damn about his safety or well-being, are willing to move our country toward lawlessness, toward authoritarianism, where we turn a blind eye to concentration camps. We're not going to allow that to happen on our watch, so thank you to everybody who's doing this work to stand up for young people. Thank you to everybody who's here today to make sure we're going to stay outraged. We're going to keep fighting. Free Mocutar! Free Mocutar! Free Mocutar! Free them all. Thank you very much.
The next person I'd like to come up is our public advocate, Jamani Williams, in Haitian Creole. He is kept.
I'm here as a son of immigrants, as a New Yorker. But really, I'm here as a freaking human being. I think they are trying their best to erase the humanity in so many of us. It is stunning to see what's happening on a daily basis in the United States of America. To be clear, we are under an authoritarian regime. This is an authoritarian president. He hasn't been able to do all of the authoritarian things he wants to yet, but he's working on it. So, to the people who are watching, the people who are faced, people of good conscience, at some point, you have to say, God damn it, enough. At some point, you have to say that. They are taking children and high school students. Can you imagine being Mocutar in high school one day, going to court to do things the right way as a good person, and being abducted in inhumane conditions, being shipped God knows where in your mind with no family and no one. Now imagine you're a 7-year-old child. This was never about public safety. This has never been about criminality. It just hasn't been. We are seeing the burgeoning of horror happening in here. This is not an exaggeration. People laughing about concentration camps in Alligator Alley, people being eaten if they try to escape, high school students being abducted. They are playing on the fears that too many people have. They are literally saying this is not a place primarily for black and brown folks, especially immigrant black and brown folks. That is what is happening. So I'm pleading with folks to get off your couches, to really understand what's happening. We have an American president who who has taken over an American city with the National Guard and is abducting people in ports and different places across this country. High school students, children, families that have no criminal charges. That means no one is safe. You cannot hide behind your TV, you cannot hide behind your social media, whatever it is. This is really happening. What makes me saddest is that here in New York City, we have a mayor who is saying and doing nothing about it. That really hurts my heart. I'm happy that he only has 5 months left, but I'm hoping, 5 months, you do something that makes this city proud. Stand up, Eric Adams, and let the city know that you care about what's happened in your last 5 months, something that you can leave some kind of proud legacy. For New York, and New York, America, we have seen enough. It is time for us to understand how all of our safety is linked to everyone else. This young man should be going to high school in a few weeks. It should be happening. But it is not. Because of Donald Trump. And I'm just shocked and I'm stunned and I'm hoping that everybody decides how bad this is and says, how are we going to get involved? What can I do with what I have, where I am, to protect people like this young man and all of us? Because no one is safe. Thank you.
Nobody has stood with immigrant communities more loudly and more effectively than our public advocates, my It's now my privilege to bring up a council member from this community in Lower Manhattan, my friend and colleague, Chris Martin.
Hi everyone, Councilmember Christopher Marte. I represent courts in Lower Manhattan. Earlier this year, on the Lower East Side, we had a mayoral forum. An 8-year-old girl stood up to the podium and said, what are you going to do to make sure that ICE doesn't come to my community or come to my school? That was an 8-year-old girl, concerned not for her safety, but the safety of her friends, the safety of her neighbors. Today, many kids across the city are going to be watching this video and know that school is just a few weeks away. And even though this did not happen at a public school or any school, they're going to register that he was a high school student, that he was abducted, and because he was an immigrant. And so I want to thank many people behind me, because this administration, the Trump administration, has been doing this to make us numb, to make us not react, to make us not come out in the streets, in the rallies, to make sure that people are heard and we're putting a spotlight on this. This student right here should be ready to go to school in a few weeks. One of the things I love about this photo is the camera he has wrapped around his neck. It's really symbolic that we have so much press in front of us. Because this could be you. For anyone who has a camera, this could be you. Anyone who likes to take photos of birds, this could be you. Whoever wants to take a cooking class, this could be you. And for anyone who's a son of immigrants, a grandson of immigrants, this could have been done. So we cannot stay silent. We must continue to fight back. Because the day we are silent is the day we lose democracy. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. I'd like to please make the vote.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Keith Fuller, and I'm the youth organizer with Make the World New York, and right next to me is. And so we're here today because there's something really wrong happening in our city. And our students' lives, our students' safety, our students' freedom are on the line. Last week, 7 students was detained during this
is shameful that this can happen here in the city of New York, the city that we call our home. It is shameful that our federal government is forcing students to live on a what-if basis. What if ICE is at my train station? What if ICE is at my bus stop? What if ICE is outside my corner store? What if ICE is waiting outside my street? What if ICE is waiting outside my house? What if ICE is waiting outside my school? Instead of focusing on future quizzes, what's for lunch, or whether or not they finish their homework on time, our students are left worried about what the federal government has in store for them. This is not right. Our government is creating conditions that make students afraid to even show up to school. But it is good to see everyone here today, because in solidarity, we can be the constant reminder to our students that they have allies, that they have power, and that together we will do everything possible to keep them safe. Mamadou is the fourth student that I know of that has been detained by ICE, and I'm sure there have been many more. I know that everyone here will fight not only to free him, but to make sure that no more students fall victim to a corrupt and unjust system. Dylan should be free, and we will continue to fight until he is. Derlis is free, and I am grateful for that, and also Joshua. But no student, no person should ever be thrown away or separated from their school or family.
Let's give it up for Maker of New York.
Woo!
Next up, it's my privilege to invite Beth Baltimore from the door. She's been providing legal services and where Mocutar has been accessing supported services. Beth. I'd like to recognize and thank my colleague Christopherleonjohnson for joining us from Southeast Queens. We were also joined earlier by Councilmember Zoe Juan of Brooklyn, who highlighted to me that many of her constituents, kids, are reaching out to her community, and letting her know that their parents have been abducted here in Brooklyn, reaching out via social media channels every way they can to get help. This is impacting every single immigrant community here in New York City, and it is wrong. The final speaker, and then we're happy to answer a few questions, is Ms. Catherine Alford from the NYC Society of Friends Quaker Community. They're the neighbor of Mocutar High School, a place where you can access some services and support and be part of the community.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, hello. Good morning. My name is Catherine Alford, and I'm a friend, which is also known as a Quaker. One of our core beliefs is that the light of God lives in everyone. We have a proudly held tradition of supporting and welcoming immigrants, and we live into our shared testimony of love thy neighbor. Mocutar Dallo is a student at the BOE High School that runs in a Quaker building in downtown Brooklyn. The school is a cherished neighbor to our Brooklyn Meeting House, a house of worship. The culinary program that has been mentioned so many times this morning runs in our meeting house. And Mocutar was there learning how to cook and share and fellowship with fellow students, friends, and people. He is a welcome and beloved member of our community. Friends are outraged that he has been arbitrarily detained while following the legal process for asylum. We stand with other faith leaders to challenge the Trump administration's cruel and inhuman immigration agenda. We must stand up to defend the human rights and human dignity of all, no matter their immigration status. We call for the immediate release and support and welcoming of Mocutar Dallo back to his community. In friendship, New York City Quakers.
Our final speaker in the morning is my friend and colleague and neighbor, the great advocate for the New Yorkers.
I am really proud to stand here with the same colleagues, advocates, community members that always come out time and time again to stand up and make clear that we will not stand for ICE disrupting our communities, removing kids from their families, removing folks from our school communities, and just as a Just as a reminder for the people who might need one, although I know nobody here needs the reminder, that removing a student doesn't just impact the student and that family, it impacts the peers, it impacts the other students who will return to school and not see Mocutar Dallo in his seat in that classroom. It impacts the teachers, it impacts the whole Department of Education, and certainly it impacts the entire city of New York. And so I'm proud to stand here with the advocates, community members, and my colleagues again to say ICE is not welcome here, and we will always do everything in the New York City Council to protect every New Yorker, regardless of immigration status, and that includes adding tens of millions of dollars for immigrant legal services in this budget. Thank you.
And I was just kidding. Our actual final speaker is my friend and colleague from Southeast Queens, the great Natasha Phillips.
Good morning. I was not going to speak, but just listening to the last speakers, I thought it was important that I give my voice to this absolute nightmare that we've been living in under the Trump administration. When I look at the visuals of ICE agents masked on the streets, taking people from their homes, taking people who are rightfully showing up for court. It reminds me of something that some of my answers had to go through, which is people with hoods on, you can't see their faces, doing horrible things. This is the truth. We deserve to have liberation in our city, where people are free to come here, to learn, to find a job, to build a family, and to get a career. And I am really honored to stand with my colleagues here who have been meeting with my church children, who is very steadfast about protecting our students. standing up for communities of color here who are under attack. Christian Coalition truly been on the front line. So I just want to say about what this is horrible. We should not have to be government. We knew that there were some government actors that were they were not government people in terms of an institution. We have an institution. We have government agents conducting such harm in our community. And we really need to do something about it so that we start putting our bodies on the line. Bring Mocutar home.
Last year, following all of the appropriate steps in seeking asylum and safety, it's been represented by the German group through the asylum process and that continuing to represent it at the stage. We came here for the same reasons that immigrant New Yorkers come here every single day. For safety, for opportunity, there's just no possible defense for why we should be abducted, following the rules, for seeking out in a life. My understanding is that currently
Tens of millions of dollars in the most recent budget for legal aid don't just materialize overnight. But at a certain point, will that money essentially pay for lawyers who literally just go stand there as lawyers? That's what's needed.
There's a lot more resources that are needed. But we need access to the Representation Act at the state level to be passed, which would guarantee that anyone showing up to immigration court has a lawyer with them that's provided. Because I think there's a misconception. Because people are afforded a lawyer in the criminal justice system, regardless if they can afford to pay for one or not. That is not the case in immigration court. If you can't afford one, you're on your own. And what we do know is that when you have an immigration attorney going with you and standing with you throughout your process, you have a 10 times more likely chance of winning your case. So thank you for that question, and we need more resources.
Was there any reason given for why?
This case was pending, not dismissed, right? Like I know that that's been a thing.
His attorneys have made clear to us that he was following the rules. There was no reason whatsoever for his abduction, and he never should have.
What about next steps from this coalition? How are you going to put pressure on so this is felt and he's released?
There's pressure that needs to be added at every level of government. Why is our mayor not standing with us? You had nearly half the New York City Council here. We need to make sure that every level of government is stepping up. In the city, the state, and our federal representatives. We need every single person to step up and fight back with the powers that they have. Our congressional reps to hold ICE and the Department of Homeland Security accountable, as well as the president. We need our state and local reps to invest in protecting New Yorkers, strengthening our sanctuary policies and making sure that we have the resources needed to fight back in an effective and strategic way.
Kids to transfer school for older and young adults in the system. It's a great model. Brooklyn Frontiers does a terrific job. They really made an effort to engage recently arrived immigrant New Yorkers and embrace them in the school.
Heading to the school year to step up resources around school buildings themselves. I know they haven't rated there per se, but just giving counsel to students, advising them of their rights, watching the routes and the way the schools listen to the plan in place to your government.
I know the last exposure here, security schools yesterday in a briefing, I know they are not covered with the hours. So we have the door open together activities.
And many council members are working directly with school leadership and school buildings across the country. But that's also a government
All right, so that's done. Excuse me, please. Thank you. All right. Boom. End that right there.